lads, welcome to another video. This video is going to be my predictions for the Scottish Premiership and Scottish Championship seasons. So for my Scottish Premiership predictions, it's kind of a bit predictable about what I've chosen. Some of them are a bit iffy. I think it will be really tight down the bottom of the league once again. I suppose surprise additions nearer the very bottom of the league, but in terms of the top 6-7 teams, I think it's really predictable what I've picked. But aye, let's go on it. Will I do bottom to top or top to bottom? Like first to 12 or 12 to first?
12 to first.
Right.
That's kind of self-explanatory.
Sorry. We're going to start off in the bottom, and I'm going to put Hamilton Accies. I feel so sorry for putting them there actually, because they get put there every single year and they always end up proving people wrong. I just feel like there's got to be a year that it happens, and I don't know, I just feel like it'll happen this year. I just feel like this is Hamilton's year. So they've probably proven me wrong in the last few seasons, because I would have had them tipped for going down in the last few seasons, but they've not. So we'll see what happens with this year. It could really surprise me once again. In 11th place, I've got the winners of the Championship last season, St Mirren. I just feel that even though they've got Alan Stubbs as manager and they did reasonably well at Hibs, winning the Scottish Cup, etc., I just don't know if he's got the right squad just yet to be able to cope with Premiership football. He's brought in a number of players, but he's also let go a lot of players. And I think the thing with St Mirren was they were building up this core squad, and the fact that they had the close relationship with the fans, etc., that's kind of all been a bit thrown up in the air. And I just feel like St Mirren have kind of lost their way a bit in terms of their squad, and learning all these new players in a season that's so vitally important to them, their first season back up, etc. Alan Stubbs has never really dealt with this kind of situation before in the Premiership, so it'll be an interesting season to see how they do. I think that they'll just have enough fighting spirit from the sidelines and the fans. I think it'll be a long slog for them, but they'll just have enough fight to make it into the playoff positions. In 10th place, this is probably the most controversial to some people, I've got Livingston. I feel like, I don't know, there's just something about going in my head that I just can't see Kenny Miller being in the relegation spots come the end of the season. I feel like they've got that fighting spirit about them again. Like, it's so important to have that, when, especially when you're a team like that who's obviously going to be fighting down the bottom of the end of the table. They've kept a good core of their players, and as I was saying with St Mirren, they've managed to actually keep the group that was together. Some have moved on, but the majority have stayed. They're there to fight the cause, and they've got players like Sean Byrne, who has really surprised me since leaving Dunfermline. Craig Halkett, he stayed on, that was very important for them. Obviously, they lost a big key component in David Hopkin. That was who they'd built their success around in the last 2 seasons with back-to-back promotions. But they've got Kenny Miller in, and he's obviously still a decent enough player to have in the Premiership. I can just see Livingston doing it, and again, I could be proven wrong. It could be a swap between Hamilton and Livingston coming into the season, who knows, but my prediction is going to be Livingston finishing 10th. I'm quickly going to just cover 9th up to 7th, because these places are kind of a bit in between for me. They're going to be really close, I think. I just don't see much between the squads at the moment. In 9th, I've got Dundee. They've built a decent enough squad in certain areas, but they've looked so, I don't know, just average in the Betfred Cup. I mean, against us, they were at home and they had a chance to just get 3 points and they would have finished top of the group at this point, but they just didn't look to have that much about them, and we kind of saw them off pretty easily. They had their chances, but they never really looked that threatening. I just think that's going to be where they come up trumps this season, really. 8th, I've got St Johnstone. Now, I believe that this will be, as I said, a close fight between 9th, 8th and 7th. But I believe St Johnstone's probably the kind of controversial one in there, because they're one of those teams that they've relied on certain players such as like Stephen McLean in the last few seasons to get the goals, etc. And now they've got someone like Tony Watt and a few other additions that they've made throughout the summer. To me, I just don't know if they're going to have enough to really do anything else except from finish in this sort of area, which is why I'm saying that they could also finish 9th and possibly slip down even further, just because they've not got that clinical finisher in Stephen McLean, and they're relying on someone like Tony Watt, who hasn't really done it in the last few seasons wherever he's been. So that's who I've got finishing 8th, St Johnstone. 7th, I've got Motherwell. They always do a good job at like squad morale and building a decent enough squad for the Premiership. I can't see this being the season that they finally break into the top 6 once again and start challenging for European places. I think they're still a few years off that. They've definitely got the right manager to push them on to that, but I don't know, there's just something about this season and Motherwell going into this season that I just feel will finish in a similar place to last season and won't do as well as they would hope for. Of course, they're obviously hoping to get into the top 6 and finish really strongly and get a good finish and possibly get into Europe, but I can't see that. Going into the top 6 now, I've got Kilmarnock finishing 6th. Again, they'll finish pretty much the same position they finished last season. They've lost a big player in Yusuf Malumbu, I believe, so that's a big kick in the teeth for them, but they've got Steve Clarke still as manager, and that's really important for them. It's a bit like the Jack Ross situation at St Mirren. Of course, Jack Ross has moved on. If Steve Clarke had moved on for Kilmarnock in the summer there, I would have probably had them finishing lower down the table. But he's still there. They've got the nucleus of their squad still together, and I believe that they'll still have enough to at least challenge up in that similar area as they did last season. 5th and 4th I actually think will be quite close knit once again, like I had 9th to 7th, Hearts and Aberdeen. Hearts will finish 5th, I believe, just simply down to the fact that they do have quite a similar squad to last season, and they've got players in their squad that will do the job in the Premiership. I just feel that they'll just finish in a similar place again, similar to Kilmarnock, but aye, Hearts will finish 5th. I feel like Aberdeen, they've got a decent enough squad, of course they do, they've got good players and good positions, but in striking areas they've lost Adam Rooney, and of course he was only their 3rd, 4th choice, as I've stated before, but they've not brought anyone in to really make it any better up front. They've only got Sam Cosgrove and Stevie May, I believe, as genuine first team strikers, and I just don't see that being enough for them to challenge throughout the season and get them up there finishing 2nd, 3rd as they have been in the last few seasons. In 3rd place I've got Rangers, and again it's going to be one of these close knit battles between 3rd and 2nd, and you'll see who I've got in 2nd very soon. But with Rangers I feel that they could easily slip into 2nd and they could also just finish 3rd. They've got Steven Gerrard now, and I actually believe that that is the perfect manager for them. He's got that fighting mentality in him, he's got the winning kind of ethos about him, and I feel like that's the right thing for Rangers at the moment. I think it'll be a really close knit battle with them and Hibs in 2nd place. They play such good football in my opinion. I went to see them in the European game, they were 2-0 down, undeservedly I thought, and the fact that they came back and got the result they needed just showed that kind of certain players in that squad that will drag them through in certain games, and I just feel that with the way Hibs play, the way that they come and dominate games and go out all out attack most times, I just feel that they will just have enough to finish 2nd this season. And finishing 1st, I mean everyone's going to predict it, I've got Celtic. If anybody is predicting anything else, you're obviously just going to be predicting for your own team to finish above Celtic, because any neutrals will see that Celtic have the strongest squad, they've got all the right resources at their hands to finish 1st once again and get 8 in a row. It's just one of those things, I'm going to have to put them 1st because there's no other way to look at it right now in Scotland. So that was my Premiership predictions. We're just going to quickly cover my Championship predictions now. The relegation spots in the Championship, I've got Alloa and Queen of the South. Alloa is the obvious one, they're the only part-time side in the league, and I just feel that they'll not have enough in terms of their squad, in terms of quality, to even challenge really for the relegation playoffs. I'll be sad because I quite like Alloa, they're my local team, and I want to see them be as high up as they can be, but I just feel that they're not going to have enough, just like Brecon did last season. I do feel they'll get more wins than Brecon though, which is a positive. And in the relegation playoff spot, as I said, I've got Queen of the South. Stephen Dubby could easily change this and pull them through once again. So I just feel Queen of the South are just lacking, and again this could be one of the ones that I'm quite wrong, but we'll see at the end of the season. I just feel that Queen of the South are not going to have enough to really challenge this season. 8th up to 5th, I've got an 8th Morton, 7th Ayr United, 6th Falkirk, and 5th Dundee United. Now, in 8th place I've got Morton, just simply down to the fact that I'm not that convinced of their squad just yet. That could all be proven wrong with maybe playing them and seeing what they've got to offer. You could easily just prove me wrong once again. I've got them finishing 8th just because I feel like they're just slightly lacking in certain areas in their squad in terms of quality. Again, I think it will be one of those close knit battles between 8th, 7th and 6th, of where they finish and what points. And as I said, 7th and 6th, again, part of that close-knit battle, but I've got Ayr United and Falkirk. Ayr United, I think Lawrence Shanklin will really pull them through, along with other players in that squad who have the quality to do so. On Falkirk's end, I'm putting them there just based on kind of the reputation that they're going to have. Last season they finished 6th eventually. They obviously had a very poor season last season. I don't know how their squad really equates to the rest of the league, but they are currently going there on their sort of reputation and the fact that they always end up kind of pulling through. So I'm going to have them finishing 6th just now, but we'll see come the end of the season. 5th is Dundee United. Controversial. They need to keep Shaba Laszlo if they're going to definitely finish in this place. If they end up sacking him and say appoint someone like Jim McIntyre, I feel like they will finish in the playoffs. But for now, they've got Shaba Laszlo as manager. I can see them finishing outside the playoffs and having a poor season for them. The playoff positions, I've got 4th Inverness, 3rd Partick Thistle and 2nd Dunfermline. These 3 teams, another battle really, but I just feel that those 3 teams are going to have enough to really push on and go for the Premiership place next season. They've all got good squads, they've all got good talent in their squads. Partick Thistle have obviously just came down and I feel like they've got the right mentality, the right people in place to pull them back up again. Inverness, they're building a good nucleus of a squad and they've got a lot of youth and a lot of pace and power in their squad, so I believe they'll have enough as well. It's a tough place to go on an away day as well, so they've got that on their sides. And with Dunfermline, as I've mentioned, I feel like we've built a really good squad for this coming season and I feel like we've got the right kind of mentality about the squad. We've got a good mix of different capabilities within the team and I just feel like we're going to have enough just to finish 2nd. Hopefully pushing on to then get promoted to the Premiership for next season. And finishing 1st, I've got the money whores, Ross County. And I'm sorry if you're a Ross County fan and I'm saying that and you feel a bit kind of offended by it, but you have to admit that you've got an owner that is willing to put his hand in his pocket and do whatever it takes to get Ross County back to where he wants them to be. And I feel like that's what's going to pull Ross County through. They've got players like Ian Vigurs in midfield who I was really keen to have at Dunfermline this season. With players like that, and I don't know, I just got a feeling that Ross County are just going to have enough to go back up at the first time asking. That's it for this video guys, cheers for watching. Let me know what your predictions are down in the comments below and I'll make sure to reply to all of them with what I think about it, etc. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. As I said, comment down below and subscribe for more of this type of content. Until the next one, I'll see you then. Cheers guys.